when the good guys keep quiet, the bad guys are prevailing. Let me tell you, women don't like untidy things. I can't imagine two boys walking like this and they're in a shop buying pink underwear.
Now masculinity is said to be toxic.
You say, oh, hello man, you crack a joke. Oh, stop. Stop what? Get out of my sight. Oh, really? Oh, we're in trouble. We're in trouble.
Brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for taking your time.
Thank you for having me.
I know you're a busy man.
We try to work hard and smart.
Calligraph Jones.
Right.
One of his songs, he said, on point.
Kama suit is a Burale. Dressing is my second nature. And anyway, Calligraph is my good friend. I think one of the most gifted rappers we have in this generation. Yeah.
You hold dressing with high regards.
I do. And dressing is not an outward thing. It's how you feel about yourself on the inside that you carry yourself outside. If I give you a brand new phone, you will not put an old cover because of what is on the inside, the specs of that phone. So I don't look at dressing as an outward thing. I just think it's an outward manifestation of an inward understanding of who you are.
So what do you think about guys such as Jeff Bezos? Mark Zuckerberg. They just put one thing.
Okay, the truth of the matter, there's a place you reach in your financial elasticity that you can even dress in a paper bag and you'll be accepted. There's a level you reach that, to be honest, whatever you put is okay. Yeah.
People don't care.
So I tell young people, don't try and dress like him. You don't have the bank balance to back that up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you dress sharply.
I
think if anyone knows you, one of the things that stands out to them is how you dress and you present yourself.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
How should young people be dressing?
Not to be swayed by this new culture of showing a lot of skin, trying to be more of see what you should not be seeing in public so that you accept me. Young men sagging jeans and behaving as if they're sick. You understand what I'm saying? So just dress presentable. I'm not saying now you go dress like the people of old in the Bible, in sackcloth and ashes, but be presentable. Because you are addressed by the way you are dressed. Because you don't get a second chance to make a first impression.
You're dressed by the way you dress.
Yes.
And I mean, nowadays people really don't care about dressing, to be honest. Especially young people.
Right.
They just dress in anything they feel comfortable with. And sometimes they'll even go out with Crocs.
Yes, actually, funny enough, I was in the US a couple of weeks ago, and a friend of mine told me you should try Crocs, that they're very comfortable. And I said, okay, I think I will try them, especially for the travels, because every time you go through the security checks, you remove your shoes and whatever. But she told me that the Crocs are very comfortable. Yeah, so I think I'll try.
They are comfortable.
They are comfortable.
But I don't think you wear them outside.
No, I think when I'm traveling, it's easy when you're going through the airports.
And it's interesting though, because back in the days, people used to travel in suits.
Yes, you can't now.
T-shirt and jeans.
Oh, right now you can't. I love my suits, yes, but when it comes to dressing, I like to wear my nice T-shirt and easy trouser, tracksuit, and something light. And if now I buy Crocs, with the Crocs. But by the time you're landing, you have already changed, ready for your meeting.
What should be in men's wardrobe?
Well, a man's wardrobe should, before I say things he should have, in as far as the colors of the suits and whatever outfits he should have, it should just be something that depicts calmness, power, and leadership. When it comes to colors, when you have a suit, brown, blue, gray, black, you must have that. But you also must have something casual, smart casual. You must have something easy, like when you're going to the supermarket or you're going just to the barber shop. But I tell people, every time you step out of the house, you must dress as if you'll bump into a very influential person. I was in the US a couple of years ago, and I was in this hotel in Dallas, and I went downstairs, and I was dressed like an apology. It was bad. And who sits next to me during the breakfast? Jesse Jackson. And we took a photo, but I looked bad. So as long as you're leaving your house, guess what? Outside your house, you may meet the president. Outside your house, you may meet a CEO who will give you your next job. You understand? Some time back, the former president just took a walk outside the State House alone. Okay, I'm sure there were some security guys watching somewhere, but you can imagine no one would have expected to meet the president just taking an evening walk. So every time you walk out of your house, dress like you will meet your next boss, dress like you'll meet your spouse, dress like you'll meet somebody you've always desired to meet, and ask a few questions.
They say shine your shoes, you never know who you might meet along the way.
Absolutely. But now we have this generation where people leave the house half naked. So you look more like an immoral person in a dark street than somebody who is presentable. I'll give an example. I was with a cousin of mine, and we were playing a round of golf. And one of the gentlemen had told me before that he's looking for a job. So I told my cousin, why don't you employ this guy? Because I know he has those opportunities. He looked at the guy and says, I can't employ you. Look at you. You even look drunk. And he was actually quite high. You understand what I'm saying? So he lost an opportunity that he's been desperately looking for about 6 months.
Wow.
Just by presentation. And he lost an opportunity.
And it's understandable.
This was yesterday, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yes, sir.
It's understandable because how you dress is, you're branding yourself.
Absolutely.
Right? So the way you dress, that's how people are going to portray you.
Before you open your mouth to say anything, your presentation, there's what we call verbal and non-verbal communication. Sometimes your non-verbal communication has a louder voice than your verbal communication. It doesn't matter how educated you are. If you walk into a place with torn jeans and you're going to meet CEOs and presidents, even if you're a PhD, your estimation has gone down very, very fast as soon as you walked into that room. Yeah.
What has changed such that people don't care about dressing anymore?
It's culture. It's westernization of things, of dressing. It is the need to be loved. It is the need to be noticed. If you take a walk around social media, Instagram, for example, people now lack identity. They feel that identity is likes and comments. So then what do? You will dress in a manner that will attract likes and comments. Now, if you dress covering head to toe decently, your own brother may not even comment. But people are showing their breasts, their thighs, and young men wearing tight trousers, showing everything, and they get likes, you understand? So the dressing has been informed by lack of identity, because this generation thinks identity is how people comment, yet identity is an inside job.
It's so unfortunate that there's a high need for acceptance from people,
right?
Such that people are willing to go extra miles just to get that like.
Yes. Social media is a good thing, the best thing that happened, also the worst thing that happened. But social media can build you, but at the same time, it can fry your brain. Like TikTok is a Chinese app. Well, it has been said, and I believe this beyond reasonable doubt, that a Chinese 15-year-old, when they go to TikTok, what comes immediately is matters education. Even if it's entertainment, there's education in it. You understand? Yeah. But in Africa here, it's dance challenges and some funny things that are very dangerous. You understand what I'm saying? So I was thinking about it. A 15-year-old will be 25 in 10 years. A 25-year-old in China, 10 years from now, will be an economic driver, a disruptor, leaders of top-notch quality. A 25-year-old at that time in Africa, based on what they've been fed on, will be a negative blogger. We even have 50, 55-year-old bloggers who don't understand what blogging is. We have some very good bloggers in Africa and in Kenya, people who change lives. But we have others who it's gossip and that. So you can imagine a 50-year-old is a blogger, not of good repute, and a 25-year-old in China could be a CEO or a captain of an industry. Where is Africa going?
The US understands that, and that is what they have been doing to us. That is why they want to ban TikTok.
Yes, many people think that they're being Big Brother-ish. No, they know what they're doing. I know they're not popular with this, but they know what they're doing. Because if they don't stop it, they have seen what is being done. We'll have zombies in 5 years.
I think we already do.
Yeah,
I mean, how many people can put their phone down?
Nowadays with kids, you're talking to them and you're a parent and they're just on their phone. Anything small, somebody does something, somebody's eating, somebody's doing this, the first thing, let's go to my phone. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong to post. I mean, it's social, it's entertainment. But if that is the be all and end all, bro, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. The Chinese guys have seen 20, 50, 100 years. Trust me. We'll have CEOs, we'll have great people controlling the world, and we'll have old people from Africa, America, good dancers, because that's all they were doing on the dance challenges.
One of the reasons that people give as to why they're always on their phone is the
Right.
fact that they need to be updated on what's going on. Right? But I'm like, even if you want to read news, you don't have to read every single time. 'Cause
And
you're
it's a lie.
bombarded-
That's just an excuse. Who wants to know Beyonce's new hairstyle? What are you being updated? How will it help you? What weaves does she have? Look for a job. You can't even afford the weave she's using. So that's nothing. You understand?
Yeah.
And if you have to be updated by news, you can't be on your phone 24/7. Unless you're changing lives. Unless you're doing things that will build other people while building yourself as well.
Even your brain needs a break. I mean, you can't
Absolutely.
be bombarding yourself with information every single time.
Absolutely.
And you don't even have time to think.
Absolutely. It is sad.
It's very sad.
Right.
I mean, and what do you think young people should do? Because it's also a form of addiction.
Form, it's the greatest addiction right
it's,
now.
It's actually it's not.
It
even
is the
form.
greatest
It is,
addiction.
It is indeed.
I think we should reintroduce the reading culture. Reading culture needs discipline. So you inculcate discipline by getting... I remember when I was growing up, my dad, after church, would take us to the club, and they had a library, and would pick books, and he says, come and read by the poolside as we have lunch. And then we go with those books for the week, and he says, you guys must finish this book by Saturday, so that next Sunday we return the books. My reading culture was introduced to me at a young age by my father. I started reading because he would take us to the country club to have fries and sausages. So he knew what he was doing. And today, I thank God I am a reader, because you can never be a leader if you're not a reader. I thank God it was inculcated in a very clever way in my early years. So we need to inculcate that. We need to tell our young people that it's not just about entertainment on social media. I mean, you go on social media today. I'll give you an example. As of today, I have 400,000 followers on my Instagram. I believe by the grace of God, I don't churn out nonsense. Speak about if it's preaching, if it's purpose, if it's advice, in whatever aspect that the Lord has given me wisdom over. But go to somebody else who posts video naked, or some people who just come up to gossip and do nonsense. They have millions of followers. So that is why our young people are bitter, because they listen to the wrong voices.
They listen to the wrong people.
Absolutely. You know, right now, that's a sound. Look at what I'm doing to my head. I'm already dancing to the tune of that sound. So the sound of gossip and nonsense, we're dancing to it. By the time you're realizing, when you look around, the dance floor is full of fools.
Do they even know that?
No. Today, right now, if we talk and then we have 30 seconds of silence, and then somebody just plays a song, your mind starts going somewhere, your body starts bopping. It's a level of slavery. And the powers that be understand how powerful sound is. When I speak to you on words, your brain sieves before you take it to the hard drive. Music is not sieved. It goes directly. That is why I would listen to Congolese music, and you start dancing, not knowing what the music is saying. Again. So, our young kids are dancing to that tune to their grave.
They're dancing.
And parents are helping them, because we're also there.
It's hard to understand the fact that this is what is going on, and people don't even know that this is what is going on and this is what is happening to
Right.
them. Because it's killing them.
We're like rats, whereby we've come out. I was seeing a video that there's a thing that can capture rats, you understand? And I think they put meat, but when the rats come out, it's like glue. They get stuck on the place, and that's how they die. So we are being taken into the slaughterhouse with good bits. So we are dancing to the slaughterhouse. When we get there, we're like, oops. Do you know this question that people say? When did the rain start beating us? They got us out of our houses and took us outside. But when we start feeling cold and feverish, then we realize, hang on a minute, what happened to us? My brother, that's what is happening. And I'm glad you are doing this thing. you bring people who, by God's grace, are changing lives and giving the right information. Because when the good guys keep quiet, the bad guys are prevailing. And our young people are getting bitter. Our young people are getting depressed. They're saying there's a toxic society just because somebody did not agree with them. It's all in the digital space. The beat is taking us to the slaughterhouse.
I believe that most of the times individuals like yourself
Right.
absolutely changing a lot of lives.
Thank you.
Young people don't really get to hear you, right?
Right.
Because at the same time, the algorithm pushes dancing to them, pushes
Right.
music to them,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
I think by having such conversations with individuals like yourself, we're able to speak to young men and women
Right.
and help them understand that they have a purpose in life.
Absolutely.
And it's more than just consuming content in social
Absolutely.
media. I mean,
Absolutely.
they also have an obligation of finding what it is that they love doing,
Yes.
doing it, and also creating an impact in their communities.
And I don't want people to think I'm saying you should not have entertainment. Personally, I've even done some dance challenges just as a father or just as a happy-go-lucky person. But that is not what I do majority of my time. You can go into entertainment because we also cannot just be serious 24 hours a day.
That's true.
So you can go into entertainment. But if that is what is taking over, then there's a problem. I sat somewhere and I observed a grown person. And it was in a public place. All they were doing is this, scrolling on their phone. They scroll, they pause, they go down, they go up again, and there's nothing they're looking for. So you spend an hour scrolling. You have a finger ache, but no brain capacity has been built. Yet there is somebody in China, scrolled once, serious information comes, and they sit and get knowledge. Knowledge is power. Applied knowledge is wisdom. When you see the Japanese, they are taught from a young age what respect is all about. During the World Cup, and I'll give this example, European countries are there, and those guys go with, we call them yobs, they go with their plastic beer cups and all those things and cans. And when the stadium is empty, where they were, you see all those things strewn all over. But what did the Japanese do? They don't leave the stadium. Where they were, they clean up. The Japanese football team, when the cleaners go into their changing room after the match, they find it spotless clean. Because these values are inculcated in the Japanese people from a very young age. So by the time they get into 13, 14, 15, this is not a burden, but this is a lifestyle. So now think about it this way, sir. We are inculcating entertainment, dancing. So what happens? That's all we will be doing. That even when you come to our churches to attract the young people, we want only to have dance styles that look very secular.
The ones they can relate to.
Yes. So we move with our body. Others are moving with their brains. Whoever moves with their brains will control where your body will go 5-10 years from today.
Well, they're already doing that.
Absolutely.
And now
It will get worse.
It's even, because we don't even know that's what they're doing.
Yes, trust me, it will get worse. I see it so clear. I see it, and it breaks my heart. I see it so clearly, and it breaks my heart where we're going. It is sad. It is so sad. It is painful. That even schools now, to attract parents, they say mobile phones allowed once a week. So that now is a way to market, entice people to come to your school. Where are the days where they say every Saturday, after cleaning the school, if it's a boarding school, we'll have 2 hours of reading. Then in the evening, they'll have entertainment, then sleep. Our right leg is on a banana peel, and our left leg is on a slippery floor.
Can't get out alive.
No.
In your office,
Right.
there are more than, let's say, 300, 400 books.
I have very many books all over this house.
And you spoke about the reading culture, something
Right.
that I've just been practicing how to read myself.
Okay.
Right? I didn't grow up in an environment where, I was motivated to read.
To read, absolutely.
And that is it's the same story for most young people in the continent.
Okay.
Right? What is it that can be done to inspire young people to start reading right now?
Book clubs. I mean, the secular people are doing it. Oprah has a book club.
But they're locking themselves in their rooms.
That's the problem. That's now where we look at the three levels: government, family, church. Parents have become too busy being busy. So to keep their children away from them, they buy them gadgets, have high-speed internet, and say, go to your room. That is why in this generation, the greatest punishment is, we will take your phone. You understand? So if we can bring them out and say, today we are reading. We're doing this book. Mom, Monday you'll read the book. And then we discuss it for about 20, 30 minutes. Tomorrow is dad. Firstborn the other day. And then you start inculcating. And as you're reading, you're making it fun. That dad is also reading. And then we're discussing the book. As you're discussing, knowledge is being impacted. So you understand what I'm saying. But parents now are too busy. Let me tell you, I'm going to say this. Parents are twerking more than their children. They're going clubbing. You are just there twerking and moving up and down as if your waist is on oil. And then you are twerking this side, your child is twerking on the other side. Even I've seen parents wearing shorter things than their own children. Because you want to be modernized. You want to be seen as if you have it. Let's go back to the days where the village raises the child. Today, if you pinch somebody's child, they will tell you, do you know who I am? My lawyer will get in touch with you.
They'll take you to the police.
The saddest thing, and I hope I will not be proved right, but if you go on like this, I'll be proved right. In the next 10 years, please hear me and hear me carefully, because this message will be available in 10 years. We will have more rehabs than reading centers in the next 10 years. I believe the internet never forgets. This information will be available. We will have more rehabs than reading centers.
How do we avoid getting to that point?
Parents, go back to the drawing board. Government, be intentional. When I look at Rwanda, His Excellency President Kagame they have a culture of cleaning the city. Saturday, right? That is a culture that has been inculcated. I've had the privilege of going to Kigali. What I have seen is a clean city. Yet it is younger than most African countries in as far as independence is concerned. But it's a culture. So we can do the same. Have a culture of reading. Have a culture where we say, watch this. Have a culture where we say, we are going to sit as a family. Put all the phones in the basket. Nobody to touch their phones for 2 hours. I'm telling you, people start having fever. I kid you not. The fathers are wondering, man, I want to know what is the score? You know, we bought a new player. You and who? How much did you contribute? You understand what I'm saying? Eh? So the father is itching, the children are itching. We're in trouble.
Oh, we're in big trouble.
And we are going into the slaughterhouse smiling. I kid you not, it is so painful. But the worst thing now, the way we are going, we will have old people very desperate and depressed because they'll have raised zombies.
Damn, it's like you can even see that coming.
I see it as clear as I'm looking at you right now. I'm telling you the truth. I see it as clear as I'm looking right now.
And where is the problem in that? Is it that people cannot get out right now and have meaningful relationships? Or is it that people don't have sex and the best option they can turn to is pornography?
No, it's a lack of identity again. What happens, let me tell you this. And I've counseled very many addicts. I go to very many rehab centers. I've been invited to speak to those people. Now, what happens when you see somebody in the rehab because of cocaine or heroin, they started with a cigarette and then they got tired of the cigarette. When many years ago, there used to be a manual car. When you do gear 1 and you move, the engine starts demanding for gear 2. Then you go for a while. It demands automatic for gear 3 until you get to gear 6, whatever, based on the speed of your car. So then you start with cigarettes. You take it so much until it becomes normal. Then you say, okay, let me try cannabis sativa. And then you go to cannabis sativa. You're like, I've done this so much. And then let's inject. You understand? So it is now, when you go to social media, dance challenges. From dance challenges, gossip. From gossip, useless blogs. From useless blog, useless podcast. And then what happened? We now want to see the extraordinary thing. We want to see who had sex with an animal. We want to see who had a menage a trois. We want, all those things. So our minds have been put so much garbage that garbage appears to be clean. When the abnormal is normalized, I'm telling you, we're in a dark cloud. And sadly, we have reached that level. When the abnormal is now normal. I know for sure that there are NGOs that have churned out a lot of money and have used influencers all over the world to propagate some very abnormal things, whereby we see two men kissing and they could be influencers. I saw a video, and I'll say this without fear, of one of Uganda's top musicians literally kissing his brother and grinding his brother in a concert. Now, the concert is over 18. But if you go to social media, go to YouTube, they ask you, are you 18? And you tick yes, and you're 10. Okay, let's move on. So what is happening? A 13-year-old boy has seen two men grinding. Will start now wanting to see more. Oh, they're grind. Now, can they do more than grinding? Two men kissing. And then, oh, they're doing kissing. So let me go to pornography. Can two men have sex? All those things. And then at 16, that abnormal thing has become normal. Then they will now not want to see, they will want to do. Sir, that is where we are heading. And we are keeping quiet because if you talk, they have well-oiled machines to attack you through social media, to attack you through other things, so that people reject you and they reject your message. But the time has come where we have to speak it. If we die, we die. But the message, it's like a relay race. You hand over the baton to another person with the right message. We have to save a generation. It is sad now that there are some places where they are considering that when a child is born, you should not put male or female on the gender, that we have to give them time to grow, to decide what they want. Where are we heading? Did this start yesterday? Absolutely not. Subtle. Shock level was over. Discussion, acceptability, normalization, and then becomes a lifestyle. It is now a lifestyle. I was told by a top lawyer somewhere, let me not mention the country, that now they're not allowed to write Dear Sir, Dear Madam. So they say, Dear Philip, because you don't know what Philip wants to be. See a man with beard like me. Beard like me. They say, I have looked, you are tidy like a man. And then you say, hello, sir. Who said I'm sir? I am a woman. Bro. And we are there. Now, kids will tell you, when you talk to them, I have a radio show. When you say these things are wrong, they tell you, stop judging. So we've already gone beyond the shock. We're on the acceptance level. If we die speaking the truth, let us die. If we die, let us die. If we die, let us die. But we have to stand for the truth. We really have to stand. I can't imagine two boys walking like this and they're in a shop buying pink underwear. Where are the days? Let's buy Steve, LeBron James jersey, Joker Dengue jersey, we are now buying things. Men are putting fake nails. A man says, you say, oh, hello, man. You crack a joke. Oh, stop. Stop what? Get out of my sight. Oh, really? Oh. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. And when you talk, they say you're judging. I talked about this. I'm telling you on Facebook, it was brought down. People reported it. Stop judging.
That is why now we are raising a generation of weak men.
Right.
One of the reasons.
Yes.
And Because now masculinity is said to be toxic, apparently.
In fact, forget about toxic. That's one level. They are bringing masculinity to a point of people are thinking masculinity is being like a female. Women don't need help to be women. They know how to do it. It's innate in them. But now, oh, I like how you have done your nails. You're a true man. Where are the days where they would say, you have gone out there and conquered heights. You have come with scars from the battlefield. Where are those men? You understand what I'm saying? You have come tired. Your lips are dry. Not because you're an untidy man. You have walked 10 kilometers to save the little money so that your children have meat tomorrow. Where are those men? That the man will come back and black out, and the wife looks at the man and says, don't disturb daddy. He's very tired. He left at 6, he has come back at 6. He's been grinding. But now we have men who wake up at 10 and steam their faces. You can't get tired. Only your fingers will be aching. And then the man leaves at 3 o'clock. He comes back at 4. Oh, it's been a hard day. Which day has been hard? You have done nothing, my brother. So our young boys are seeing that as normal. Our young boys are seeing that as normal. And the girls are moving up. And then you're complaining, oh, the girl child has taken over. No, she has not taken over. You just abdicated. You abdicated. It's as simple as that. Let me tell you, women don't like untidy things. Married men will tell you, if a paper is dropped, a man can pass it. The wife will come and be like, no, I have to pick it up. So if you leave your seat, the woman will come and sit. So let's not overuse that to justify our bad behavior and inability to take our positions of leadership.
Yeah, they say good times create weak men.
Yes.
Weak men create tough times.
Yes.
And tough times create strong men.
Right.
Now we're in good times.
Bro, Africa, open your eyes. My goodness, it's painful. It breaks my heart to see what has happened. We are rich in resources, but we are not concentrating on the gold mines. We are concentrating on challenges. It is sad. How do you explain 2 African countries are the biggest producers of cocoa, but the cocoa's taken to another country, chocolates are made, sent back to those 2 African countries at very high prices. Oh, you got to buy it duty free. Black chocolates are very expensive. They got it from you. Here in my country, at the EPZ, we are the ones who employ thousands of people. We used to do that, and they make the jeans, the denims. And then all that happens, they're sent back, they're sent to another country, logos are put, and then the prices are hiked by 70%. You who was part of the people creating them cannot even afford it. The worst thing is being discussed on the table, but you're not allowed to sit around that table. But you are told to serve tea as other people are discussing you on that table. It is only in Africa where presidents go to another president in a superpower and they are lined up. They are lined up and they are told, next, shake hand, smile, go, go. So we only see the one photo with that president. But there was somebody telling them, line up, please, shh, photos are being taken, line up, quickly, pop, photo, move.
And packed in a bus.
Honestly. And I'm glad my president spoke about it, that we need to be respected.
I saw that and I loved it.
Yes, we need now more presidents to be bold enough to speak.
Them with 70s.
Yes, 70s. That man is bold.
He is, because look at the World Cup.
Yes.
Qatar said, we don't allow this.
Right.
People talked, but
they stuck to their guns. If you are a man of value, you have non-negotiables, even if they don't agree. Stand by your word. Stand by your value system. There was a hue and cry all over the world. He said, it's okay. You will talk, you will sleep. Tomorrow morning you will talk, call experts on your TV stations, but our value is don't bring that thing here.
don't come if you don't agree with us.
World Cup was successful. People took photos. People went.
That's a very powerful example. And at least the young people know how to produce the genes,
Right.
because most young people nowadays are made to believe that they can't even do that in the first place.
Right.
And all we can do is wait and purchase,
Right.
wait and buy. And it explains why, it's hard. Life has become difficult for most people,
Right.
And that young people don't have jobs anymore.
Right.
And so, as what we're seeing right now in Nairobi, that since they don't have jobs, they don't have anything to do, they can just go on the streets and protest. And what
Yes.
they're doing on the streets is just, it's absolutely crazy.
Right.
It's insane.
Absolutely. Because you have been given a plate called you cannot do anything for yourself. Like as I was saying, 2 African countries are the biggest producers of cocoa. But we don't make chocolate. Cocoa is taken to a first world country. It's brought back in the form of chocolate. Very expensive, that we who produce the cocoa cannot afford the chocolate. Only when you travel and duty free. In Kenya, we are known to produce denim, the jeans. And then they're sent in the EPZs. And then they're sent to another country. And then they're labeled, just a label, sent back at a price that even those who toiled day and night to produce cannot afford. It's now for the rich, powerful, and the mighty.
Wow.
We're in trouble.
We are, big time.
Yes.
And I'm going to say this again. We don't know we're in trouble, and we're in trouble. And that is even more disappointing. The fact that we can't see what's coming towards us.
We're dancing with a knife on our neck. The bleeding has started. But our ears have been sweetened with the voice of the sound, that we shall realize when you've bled too much, we are on our last legs. But by that time, sir, it may be just a little bit too late. Unless we wake up as Africa and do what is right for our generations. The problem now, we have even African leaders refusing to relinquish power because they're in power for their own ambitions. But we have leaders who get into power and gladly get out of power. Then you'd know they're not doing it for themselves, but they're doing it for generations to come. That once you're gone, your voice and your legacy will be carried through by other leaders because of inculcating the right values, not by words only, but also by example. Yeah.
If our countries don't have values, how can we even expect our leaders to have values?
Absolutely.
So I don't think that is even surprising.
But that's why I like what my president said. That it's time for Africa to be respected. Somebody must stand up to be counted. Yeah.
You have to. And that means pissing off the big guys.
The big boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pissing off the big boys.
Right. You got to stand up to be counted. You may be unpopular. They may plan evil. But you have to stand up to be counted.
Yeah, you have to. You have to stand up to be counted. Men and relationships.
Right.
It's becoming difficult nowadays. It's becoming very tough.
Right.
Men can hardly get into relationships, can
Right.
hardly maintain them, keep them. What's happening?
2 things, sir. Some is just outright bad upbringing, bad value system. But there are others who may want to be in relationships, but they're fighting many battles. It's a privilege to be a man, but it's hard to be a man. Men are crying on dry faces, screaming in whispers, calling for help. What happens, as T.D. Jakes says, the encourager needs encouragement. And I've given this example. If there were 2 children here, 5-year-old girl and 5-year-old boy, and the 5-year-old girl falls down, we'll all rush to the 5-year-old girl to ask, are you okay? And then when the 5-year-old boy falls, the grown-ups will say, don't look at him, he will cry. Men, how many times young boys have been told, boys don't cry? So then at 40, I will not cry because my way of crying is showing my vulnerability. So you told me not to cry tears at 5. At 40, 45 and 50, then I will not show my vulnerability. So I am fighting my battles in private. I don't have time to love somebody. Or if I want to love somebody, I don't want to bleed on other people because I am still bleeding. So it's not all doom and gloom. Some men, it's just bad upbringing, as I said, bad value system, careless lifestyle. But there are others who really want to love, but they're saying, I am not ready. I'm bleeding too much to carry other people. That's why they say even in the plane, when they're giving you the what do you call it? Instructions in case in the unlikely whatever of there's no oxygen, the masks will come down. But before you fix anybody else's mask, fix yours. We are still fixing our masks.
Are we even doing that?
We are doing it, but we may be doing it wrong. And not because we're careless. It's all we know. Some men are doing it by indulging in addictions in alcohol and women. Others are not talking to people, isolating themselves. Others are talking to the wrong people, not even their wives. Men talk sometimes to the wrong people. Do you know how many men talk to the barmaids? Because it's a stranger.
And they're not going to judge them.
Exactly. Let me tell you something. Controversial this may sound, and I'm a pastor. I don't drink, I don't go to bars. But many barmaids have kept men sane by offering an ear.
Yeah, because at times people need to be heard, right? And most of the times as men, we are told to keep what we are going through to ourselves.
I spoke to a man who told me, Pastor, I'm alive today because of a barmaid. I said, what do you mean? He said, I didn't sleep with her. But she'd tell me, you've had enough for the day. I'm not selling you another bottle of beer. And he says, you mean somebody cares about me so much? Would you believe that? I don't want your money. I'm not selling you another beer. You've had enough for the day. Please go home. And he was driving home and he said, she cares about me? That she does not even want to sell more alcohol, which is their business? So somebody cares about me. He says he's alive today because of that lady. And I remember he made a comment in the presence of other men that if he ever got blessed to a point he has companies and he needs to employ people, that will be the first person he would take away from a bar to serious positions in his company. In fact, what did he say? That will be one of the HR managers. People management, man-to-man management, she was good at.
Because she understands them.
Exactly.
I think it would be interesting to have a conversation with such an individual,
Right,
who listen to men when they're going through dark times,
right,
then they're beasts, and they don't even have someone to talk to,
right,
or someone to give them an ear without judging them.
Yes,
Men are struggling.
absolutely.
How should they get through their struggles?
Have a safe space where men can sit. The worst thing is when a man speaks to you in his moment of vulnerability and you use it against him to mock him, to ostracize him, then he will never speak to anybody again. But if you can have a band of brothers where we meet once in a while. I met some yesterday. We had nyama choma, ugali, and we just talked. And they said, man, we are brothers. One is a printer, and I say to those gentlemen, you know what? That guy does printing. Any of you wants to do any printing, that is the guy you should talk to. One of them is a lawyer. You need legal advice, go to that person and pay. The moment we feel safe around each other as brothers, we are leaving no man behind. We have to trust. But now when you go on social media, men have become the biggest gossips.
Is that because that's where they can speak?
Who, the men?
Yeah.
That's bad value system. Aren't we speaking right now? Are we gossiping? We're not gossiping. Gossip blogs will not take what we are saying. It will not trend.
No, it won't.
But I know for sure what we are saying, long after we are gone, there'll be somebody who said, I listened to those two gentlemen. Something was said. I carried it for 10, 20 years of my life. Gossip is fresh as a cabbage outside the fridge. Tomorrow, it's gone bad. We need something new. When you speak purpose, when you speak weight in content, it doesn't need a fridge. It is self-regulating. 20 years from today, the message is still fresh. Watch this. There is a thermometer that bases its readings on what is happening on the outside. So whatever is hot, fresh, a thermometer reacts. But we need thermostats. That it is in the house. However hot it is outside, it tells you the temperature in the house. So we are thermostats. Too many people are thermometers.
Too many people.
Yeah. They go with the flow.
It's scary.
Very scary. And those are the ones people like to listen to.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why I like my good brother, Mr. Vusi Thambakwayo, changing lives by giving serious knowledge. My other brother in Ghana, Kwame Opoko, giving knowledge. You understand? My other brother, call him Prince Tago, he's in Morocco, giving serious content. That once our time on earth is done, our voices will be louder. But if you're a gossip, the moment you die, gossip dies with you. When you're admitted in hospital, gossip dies with you, or goes to hospital with you. They start looking for another person with gossip. Why is Miles Monroe's voice louder right now, yet he's on the other side of eternity? We still buy his books. We still quote him in our talks, in our trainings, in our preachings. And he's no longer here physically. But I want to ask you one question, and to anybody watching us. Tell me of a top gossip person who died 5 years ago. You will not even remember. You will not even remember a name of anybody. We say, I have a dream, I have been to the mountaintop, and I have seen the promised land. When you hear that word or that sentence, you remember Martin Luther King. When you say, I have a dream, Martin Luther King, the long walk to freedom, Nelson Mandela, yes, we can, Mr. Barack Obama. But when you talk about who broke the news of who is sleeping with who, you will struggle to remember a name. Simple as that. You will struggle.
It sounds like gossip is something that really frustrates you and pisses you off big time.
It pisses me to the core of my being, because gossip does not need intelligence. Gossip needs a careless mouth and an empty brain. Just simple as that.
You don't need to do any work.
I loathe gossip. You don't need to be a thinker to be a gossip. But to change lives, you have to be a thought leader.
You have to put in work.
A lot of work. Look at my books. I have something called Thinking Thursday every Thursday. I sit for 3 hours in silence and think. And I write things as I download. Gossip, you look for who is sleeping with who.
And then after 5 minutes, you want something new.
Yeah.
Because that has expired.
20, 30 years from this day, there'll be people still quoting Miles Monroe. I tell you for sure, my brother, there'll be people quoting Miles Monroe. Nobody quotes a gossip. Oh, do you remember when somebody slept with somebody? This guy said it so eloquently. That lady said it so eloquently with good English. Nobody says that. When people are talking about gossip, they concentrate on the people who are being gossiped. Do you remember? We gossip Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. We don't know who started that thing. But people say, like Miles Monroe said, like Martin Luther King said, like Barack Obama said. That is when you know you're a man or a woman of legacy. When your voice is louder, when your mouth cannot speak.
And do people like gossip, or do people gossip because it covers their sense of insecurity?
Two
the
things.
Fact that they're putting
Yes,
someone down.
two things. Emptiness. But the greatest one, actually 3. Emptiness. Number 2, access to free Wi-Fi. Number 3, some people have their own issues that are so dark that they try to run away from themselves. And they realize, hang on a minute, I cannot run away from myself. And since I cannot run away from myself, I will also not have the guts to deal with it myself. So I will project my anger, frustration by amplifying somebody else's issues. Most people who talk like that, who gossip, who hurt people, trust me, if you dig deeper, they need more help than somebody in the ICU.
Because they're suffering internally.
Totally. And there's nothing as bad as internal bleeding. You will die at some point. Even when somebody has been knocked by a car and you say, they ask you, are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. You'll hear somebody shouting, please rush them to hospital. There could be internal bleeding. And if you're not taken to hospital, you will go home and lie down and not wake up the next day. Internal bleeding is the worst thing. Most people who emit hatred actually have pain on the inside and cannot look at themselves in the mirror for 10 minutes without looking away. Most people who do that do not want to be alone because a mirror stands right in front of them and they see the scars, they see the pains, and then they look away.
We are seeing a lot of happy faces walking down the roads, and most of them are dead inside.
Happy faces, broken hearts. Good suits, bleeding hearts. Smiling faces, crying hearts. Walking straight, lying down in pain on the inside. Insulting other people, crying like a small child on the inside. Crying, help, help, help.
And that is why they say most of the times, if you follow people who have done more than what you do, they would happily give you feedback.
Absolutely.
But if you follow people who have done less than what you have done, they would always want to criticize you and bring you down.
You will be like a black man in a dark room winking at a black woman and expecting a reaction. Nothing will happen in your life. You'll be winking so hard, but nobody's reacting. It's as simple as that. Or you'll be a boxer throwing punches left, right, and center, uppercuts, jumping up and down. Then when you open your eyes, there's no opponent. You'll get tired and die in desperation.
Some of the friends that you have mentioned, the likes of Vusi and Kwame, these are powerful men.
Absolutely.
Out there inspiring others and doing some great stuff.
Right.
Creating actual impact.
Yes.
And they let their work talk for them.
Absolutely.
How do you create such a group of friends who are doing the same thing as what you're doing and who are trying to find meaning in their life and also create impact?
I'll tell you the truth. If you're a man sure of yourself, you will not be jealous of somebody else. Personally, I listen to Vusi almost on a daily basis. I listen to Kwame Opoku almost on a daily basis. I listen to Prince Tagoe with his YouTubes and interviews almost on a daily basis, because the day you stop learning is the day you start dying. There is something they know that I do not know. There is no dishonor in learning. We are not jealous of each other. We are complementing each other. You understand what I'm saying? But now the problem is that many people are competing. And if you enter into a place as if you're competing, remember there has to be a loser.
Yeah, you
and
have
in
to put
football,
one person
you will
down.
sometimes tackle somebody, break somebody's leg. And how do they do it that way? You start character assassinating somebody else so that you become better. Putting off somebody else's candle. You cannot be somebody else. Just like our fingerprints. We have something unique about us. The best you can do, learn from each other. The ignition of a car should never be jealous of the 15-inch rims of the car, because the 15-inch rims of the car will not move if the small ignition is not working. Everybody has something to do. You could be an ignition. You are not as big on social media or TV, but don't be jealous of the 15-inch wheel. And if the whole car is looking beautiful, leather seats, DVD, sleek, aesthetics, fantastic interior, but there's no fuel. And the fuel of a car is never seen. But without the fuel, the car will not move. What am I saying? Everybody has something to do. Stop being jealous of other people.
And also just find people who inspire you.
Absolutely. The day you stop learning, that's the day you start dying. And by the way, people you can learn from are not necessarily people who are financially richer than you. You can learn even from somebody who cannot string 3 sentences in English, but have wisdom. Our young people now don't have wisdom because they don't go to the village. They just want to go for house parties, twerking, having sex like rabbits. You understand what I'm saying? and sending your father and your mother money in the village, and you feel like you've done something. Where are those that will go to the village and just sit at the feet of the old people, the mothers, the fathers, the uncles, and glean onto their wisdom? The sad thing, many people are dying in the villages, not desperate, but in pain, because they're dying with content that they needed to pass to the new generation. I sit when I go to visit my mom in Busia. I sit and I listen to her. Today I was talking to her over the phone. She said some very deep things. You understand? I'm in the big city. I'm traveling. She's not traveling. But she's given me some wisdom that when I travel, I even speak. Like my mother told me. I go sit with my uncles who will tell you, please buy me something today. And you sit there and you're having tea and they just keep on saying things and you pick them. Those are things you cannot get even in the Harvard Business School. You will not get them in the London School of Economics. You will not get them on Google. They're things that the people, what we call the old folk, who we call the old folk in the village have, that if only we could take time, instead of rushing to these house parties, just say this weekend I'm going to the village. I just want to sit at their feet and glean on their wisdom. But the young people nowadays also want to talk more than the ones who know.
Can't listen.
Sit down and listen. If you talk too much, the people who know a lot will keep quiet. And when you walk out, you're like, oh, I feel sorry for that person. What I have, I wish they listened to it. There's something about sitting at the feet. When you look at it physically, you sit at the feet is a place of submission. When you sit at the feet of somebody, you have to look up, meaning you look up to them and they download something. It's not upload, it's download. And once you're downloaded, you get the strength to be uploaded. It's as simple as that.
People don't like the feeling of being ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with being ignorant.
Right.
But there's something wrong with being foolish.
Exactly.
And when you are ignorant, you have to agree to the fact that there are things you don't know and you have to learn from others.
Yes.
And that seems quite hard for people to do.
Right.
Your life had taken quite a fascinating and interesting turn.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things that you deal with are things that most people struggle with.
Right.
And some of them don't even believe it's possible for them to go through what they're suffering. As a matter of fact, I have someone close to me who drinks a lot.
Right.
And despite this person seeing their parent drinking, they also got into drinking.
Right.
And it has taken them to a downward spiral. And it's so heartbreaking to see what's happening to them right now and what they're going through.
Right.
Because these were individuals that some people in their communities are looking up to them.
Right.
How can people deal with addiction?
I feel sorry for the ones dealing with addictions, because the ones who have conquered addiction by God's grace, some are not too bold to speak it. Somebody once says, what God delivers you from, He gives you grace for. When sometimes you show somebody your scar, and right at that moment they're struggling with the same thing, and then they see where you are at, it will give them hope that it can get better. But many people are stuck in the room called addiction because it seems hopeless. But when you show your scars, the problem with people now, we only want to show our perfect side. Every African parent was number one in school. So we want to show our perfect side. I take a different time. My book, my first book, The Mask Off, From the Strip Club to the Pulpit, is largely about my struggles, largely about some things I did wrong, some struggles I went through, and how God and friends and mentors, my bishop helped me get over, is to encourage other people. It wasn't easy releasing that book. No way. But I was like, you know what? If one person is changed, then that book will have done its purpose, because you will change one person who has access to 1 million people.
And it requires a huge level of humility to be able to do that.
Yes, and understanding that whatever pain you went through was for somebody else to have joy. Whatever scars you have on your face is for somebody else to have a smooth face, because you cleared the thorns and the thistles as you're walking through that. Then you cleared the way for other people. And that's why I tell young people, Never laugh at the scars of the ones who have gone before you, because your smooth face is as a result of the scars on other people's faces.
Challenges shape us.
Laughing at old people who cannot speak English because you have your PhD. Your mom, your dad cannot speak English very well because they sacrificed to make money to educate you to your PhD level. I think I saw a video or photos of a Ugandan guy who graduated, and one time with his regalia, the graduation gown, the mom sells in a market. He went to the market to where the mother sells tomatoes and everything to honor the mother. You don't have young people doing those things. All the young people do is tell people, my parents are old-fashioned. I'm telling you that old-fashioned. Hidden in that old-fashioned is wisdom, advice, and the key to your upward mobility for years to come. You will never ever know. I've had young people saying, I wish my father and my mother was alive. You will never know the importance of presence until you know the pain of absence.
You'll never know the importance of presence
Until you feel the pain of absence. I wish my father was alive. I wish my mother was alive. But when they were there, you didn't care. You were dancing, you were clubbing, you were having sex. And every day, their voices were fainting. Their bones were cracking. Their hearts were slowing down. And their eyes were getting blind. Then, their system shuts down by order of natural ears. And then you wonder, what happened? What is the last thing to completely go in a dead body? It is your hair. What is the last thing to go before you really die? Your hearing. Ask for advice while they can still hear.
And
So a lot is here. The eyes of the old person can see so far. What they see while seated, you cannot see while standing on a 10-foot pole. The ears hear when the evil is speaking that you cannot hear. Their nose of the ones that have gone before us can smell danger. When they tell you don't go right, don't. They smell opportunities. When they tell you go left, please go. The mouth of the ones that have gone before you can give you wisdom that will save your life. And that is why when somebody's life is ebbing away, even as you're holding their hands, we never look at their feet. We look at their faces. And that's when many people regret, my goodness, here, wisdom is going. True love is going. Care is going. And that's when you look back and say, I wish I listened to my father. I wish I listened to my mother. I talk to my mother every day. Every day. I talk to my mother every day. There is no dishonor in that. Every day. Because you understand the true meaning of parental love, parental advice, parental rebuke. And up to this day, there are things she says to me that are holding me in good stead. May the young people open their eyes quickly before it's too late.
Well, let's hope we do.
Absolutely.
Because you have to. And it requires humility.
Yes.
And well, most of us are missing that.
Yeah.
And so the fact that we can't feel that we don't know something and it's perfectly fine to go and ask advice, it's perfectly fine to sit down with someone older and have a conversation with them.
Great advice is not based on how beautiful the voice is, on how great the English is. Great advice is based on the weight of wisdom, age, experience. But we just want to hear. That's why we listen to a lot of Western. That's why there's the Westernization of our culture, because they appear to sound better than us. So because we take advice based on the lingo, based on the rhymes, then we take whatever they want us to take. But in the village, a woman will speak to you in Kikuyu or Luganda. Doesn't sound very academic. Then we ignore that. Yet that is where the weight of content is. If I could, 3 times a week, I would sit with people in villages. I wish time would have allowed.
Being articulate is important. But that doesn't mean if someone is not articulate, they're not smart.
Some people are articulately foolish. The worst thing is to be the loudest voice with the empty brain. And I'm a believer on being articulate. I'm a believer in expression.
You are yourself.
Thank you. But my expression, I can insult you with good English. I can speak nonsense with good English. Out of the abundance of the heart, your mouth speaketh. So before your mouth speaks, there's something inside that you must build. There are people, when they open their mouth, within 35 seconds, you dismiss them. There are others, within 3 seconds, you're like, I want to hear what this person has to say. So you can be very good in English, but speaking nonsense. It's as simple as that.
It's just a language.
It's a language to express that which is inside you. Yeah.
Language to express that which is inside you.
Yes, sir.
You are a preacher of the gospel.
Yes, sir.
And nowadays, we have a lot of young people who don't believe.
Right.
Who don't have faith. And it's, as a minister, how do you feel about that? Because it seems like religion played a prominent role in terms of how your life is right now.
Right.
So how does that feel?
It breaks my heart. But one thing I know, the Bible says, upon this rock I will build my church and the gates of hell shall not prevail. Religion is one of the problems that has bedeviled the church. Jesus is not into religion, he's into relationship. But also there's what we call the commercialization of the gospel, whereby we have presented Jesus as just somebody who gives. Is like an ATM. God will bless us, yes. He has promised in his word, and he has said, I've exalted my word above my own name. He is not a man that he should lie. He's not a son of man that he should repent. But then there's also a scripture that says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all other things will be added unto you. We need to get to a place we point people to the kingdom, not to the gold in the kingdom. The Bible says, if I be lifted up, I will draw men. One of the greatest apostles I listened to is Apostle Michael Orokpo. He says the Spirit will not move if Jesus is not preached. So we have tried to stage manage God. When people leave God, they become creative. Let us go back to the old time preaching, where we preach Jesus in the beginning, Jesus in the middle, Jesus at the end. Then lives will change. Because it's not in our rhyming. Now we have preachers rhyming, wanting to trend. Let's preach Jesus and let Jesus be the trending topic.
Religion is such a powerful tool, and we can see what it can do to people when we look at what has been happening in Kenya.
Yeah, religion has been used wrongly, where especially there's hopelessness. You understand? So you sell hope, but hidden is destruction, where people have died. And I will give my stand. I don't call those people pastors. That man is not a pastor. That is not a church. That is a cult. That is a cult that you are making people die, saying if you fast until you meet Jesus, you die and meet Jesus. Brother, we meet Jesus every day because you have a relationship with Jesus. But I also want to tell the believers, don't lose your brain. You have been given a brain.
Use it.
Don't be stupid. Don't be empty. Be like the LGBTQ. You have preached to me. Let me bounce it off with the scripture. If it's not there, I don't care who you are. I dismiss it. As long as you're saying you're preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, it must be supported with scripture.
A lot of people who come up nowadays and say that they're pastors and they preach are individuals who, I wouldn't say they don't know what they're doing, right? But they're individuals who I don't think they have the authority to be able to do what they're doing, because they end up leading to people into dark places rather than helping them. Because one of the powerful things that religion does is give people hope.
Right.
And so if you use that against people who don't have hope and you have your own agenda, you're going to destroy them.
Sadly.
And I like what Kagame has done, President Kagame in Rwanda, such that if you don't have a theology degree, you can't open a church, because it has now become a business.
Yes, I agree with him in part, disagree to some part. There are people who are called of God, but don't have the financial capacity to go to do theology, and are genuinely called of God. Actually, some of the people who take advantage of these people have theology degrees. You understand what I'm saying? We also have to give room for the raw move of God and the manifestation of the expression of Jehovah God. And sadly, if we lock out the bad ones carelessly, we lock out the real ones as well. Yeah. So it's a thin line that we have to deal with very, very carefully.
Extremely careful.
Extremely careful. You can't just say if you don't have a theological degree, then you'll not. No. Some are good, some are not good. But also the God is watching. He does not sleep nor slumber. There will be a time he will separate the wheat from the chaff. He says to us, do not try and remove them, because in trying to remove them, you may remove the right ones. But the time will come, he will separate.
How has religion made you the person you are today?
Relationship.
Or faith?
It's relationship and faith.
It's relationship and faith.
Because I trust in God. I lean on God. I have seen what he has done for me. He remains faithful even when I wasn't faithful. I have seen God changing lives. I have seen God turning my life around. I have seen God giving me hope when I felt I'm done. I have seen God forgiving me when I thought I don't deserve forgiveness. I have seen the mercy of God saying no to some things. So for me, God is the be-all and end-all. God in the morning, God in the noontime, God in the evening, God in the nighttime. I have seen God. What I mean by have seen is through his wondrous works, relationship. I know his voice. My sheep will hear my voice. I will preach the gospel of Jesus Christ until the day I die. Yeah. So faith, not religion, has played a major role in my life. My father, my mother took us to church. Then I understand the scripture that says, bring up a child in the way that they should go, and when they grow, they'll not depart from it. And yes, along the way, I went off, but the seed was planted, and the seed sprouted and looked for me and brought me back into my first love.
What is the difference between religion and faith or relationships?
Relationship is with our Maker. Religion has been tweaked, turned by men to support their selfish ends to some extent.
What do you think about Africa's own religion before colonialism and before we had Christian and Islamic and all the other religions?
That is why I insist on relationship, because God was there before the beginning. John chapter number 1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1:14, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among men. So God was there before the beginning. So I know people have used the Western philosophers and missionaries came and gave us a God that does not exist. That's why I talk about relationship. I haven't seen God face to face, but I know God is there based on how I have experienced God. And you only experience somebody who you have a relationship with. Yeah. So for me, God was there before the beginning.
It seems like you had quite a good relationship with your parents growing up.
Right. Yes, my father, good man. My mother, still alive, strong, great woman. I love her to bits. And they tried their best to inculcate some togetherness. And with my siblings, I try to talk to my siblings also every day. You know, my sisters, my brother, we try to talk every day. It's important. It's important. It's important.
We are losing a sense of family nowadays.
Father's in the bedroom, receives a message from the mother in the kitchen, come and eat. Mother's in the kitchen, father comes to the sitting room, sends a message via phone, the food is cold. May the Lord have mercy on us.
And yet we are surprised of the kids we are raising and
Yeah.
how they turn out to be.
Absolutely. God will help us.
I hope it does.
God will
Because
help
we're in
us.
big trouble.
God will help us, sir. God will help us.
I hope it does. I mean, people are going through a lot, you know. People are
Oh,
suffering.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
times are hard.
Yes, sir.
Times are really hard. And right now, I mean, how many people can stand for what they believe? Because
Yeah.
the moment you do that, people try and put you down or shame you. You're an outcast.
Yeah.
Tough times. The Three Hearts of a Man. This is your
Third book.
third book. And a lot of Africa's powerful people don't write
And don't read.
and don't read. What does writing mean to you?
Writing means everything in the sense that when my mouth cannot speak, my words will have a voice. Like I gave an example of Miles Monroe. I will not be alive in another 60 years, 70 years. Okay, 60 I believe I will be. I told God I need to live to 102. So in another 200 years I'll not be there. But my voice will be heard through my writings. Yeah. When you go through mud with your 4x4, you leave tire marks where people say there's a car that passed here. Your writing and your books are tire marks that they will say somebody passed here.
Somebody passed here. And I'm glad you also passed in this podcast.
Thank you very much. It's really an honor and you're doing a fantastic job and may the Lord just bless you.
Amen.
You're taking a lot of time. You're very dedicated because I remember the messages you've been sending me and you travel to do these podcasts. So God must bless you that you are a conduit of wisdom, content, that lives will be changed. And because of that, God will bless you.
Amen. And thank you so much.
Asante.